Well, no matter what happens, tomorrow and specifically this week is going to be absolutely huge. You have rumors that Justin Trudeau is going to be resigning as early as tomorrow. You have other rumors that Mark Carney is preparing to throw his hat in the ring to run as an MP to then be, eventually what his hopes would be prime minister. You also have Freeland, who's rumored to be competing against Mark Carney for the leadership role of the Liberal Party. There's a lot happening, and it's all going to reveal itself within the next 48 hours. Or is it? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you all to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. We are an inch away from 440,000 subscribers, and it'd be pretty sweet if we got there right at the start of the new year. Now, for all of the OG viewers, this area might look familiar. This is actually where it started. I'm in my fifth wheel right now, camping with my family, but all right, that's not going to stop us from making videos about the news. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Starting off with this breaking news post here. Conservatives have postponed a series of announcements tomorrow because there's talks of something big on the Liberal side happening. Liberal staff have been told to show up in person. Does Justin Trudeau resign tomorrow? This is by HOC staffer. It's a pretty reputable account, and you can see a lot of the comments here saying, yes, he's going to resign. Yes, he's going to resign. Yes, he's going to resign. So it really seems like a lot of people are showing that he's going to resign. And it's not just hopes, it's actual data to back this up. Let's take a look here. The polls have updated. Conservatives are now at 236 projected seats with a bottom line of 208. Which is absolutely insane, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Trudeau has dropped, I think from he was at 39, he's down to 35, and Jagmeet's still at his stagnant 25. When you look at the popular vote projection percentage, Conservatives are over 45%. Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are at 20%, and the NDP's at 19%. So you're about to see the leader of the opposition potentially be Jagmeet Singh, and then Pierre Poilievre as the Prime Minister of Canada, with 99% likelihood across the board for winning the most seats and odds of a majority government. It's still looking extremely favorable for Pierre Poilievre. Now, the other day, yesterday, I believe, I posted a video saying Justin Trudeau is talking about resigning, right? And then after I posted that video, I posted it in the, I think the top comment, the pinned comment of the description. This post came out by Michelle Rempel-Garner, who said Trudeau may announce a decision to leave before Monday, but Canada needs the certainty of a general election that a general election will provide, not more Liberal Party drama. Senior journalists are posting that the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is set to trigger a leadership race within the Liberal Party by Monday, which could be why the Liberals have, why the Conservatives has postponed all of their meetings to see what the heck actually, or all their announcements, to see what the heck actually happens tomorrow with Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. Now, there's so many different angles. Nobody has the right answers. Nobody knows what's going to happen until tomorrow actually happens. But we could be seeing prorogation of some sort. We could see Trudeau resigning. We could see Trudeau basically saying, screw you all. I'm the only one that's going to run as prime minister. If you don't like it, you can jump ship. And I mean, he's kind of been doing that and saying that. And there's a lot of people have already jumped ship, not only from his cabinet, but just from the Liberal Party. So what else can happen? Well, the board of directors of the Liberal Party, unelected officials, just people that are on the board of directors, rich people are basically able to decide who is the leader of the Liberal Party. And all of the polls, Angus Reid's polls, 338 polling, everywhere, it's showing that Justin Trudeau is going to suffer a catastrophic loss. If you don't believe me, just Google, how's Justin Trudeau doing? And every single news source, I'm not talking about YouTube channels, every single news source is saying, it's freaking done. Trudeau is done. There's nothing he can do to hold on to power for the remainder of the year, but he may try to hold on to power a little longer. So different options for tomorrow: prorogation, resignation. He could very well come out and say, let's just do an election. He could do a like call a snap election. I don't know why he would lose, but he still could, I guess, theoretically do that, which would be kind of interesting, and kudos to him, I guess, if he does that. But there's a lot of different things. You could also see the board of directors call a leadership race review and basically just do a Liberal Party leadership race, which would then postpone any federal elections because the Liberal Party needs to figure out who their leader is. Or they could just appoint an interim leader like Chrystia Freeland, Dominic LeBlanc, but it can't be Mark Carney because he's not an elected official. So there's a lot of different things. Now, where does Mark Carney come into this? Well, Mark Carney has to win a by-election in order to be a member of parliament, and then, and only then, can he actually run as Liberal Party leader or candidate for the Liberal Party leader. So it is possible that you also have some postponing of a internal election within the Liberal Party to give Mark Carney time to do 1, 2, 3, 4, however many times it would take for him to theoretically win a by-election, for him to be an MP, and then do that leadership race. But then you would see some prorogation, and then we're talking about an October federal election. So that's not what any of us want. What we want is for, well, at least what I want is for Justin Trudeau to just have his ego still run the show and say, nope, I'm going to run as prime minister. And then when he eventually does run, he's going to suffer a catastrophic loss. That's what I would like, but let me know down in the comments what you guys would like. But let's continue reading this post here just a little bit because it is a day old. So I'm sure a lot of you have already seen this. Why are people saying that Justin Trudeau is about to trigger a Liberal Party race? Late Friday night, news leaked out that the Federal Liberal Caucus and their caucus chair, Brenda Shanahan, had called a meeting at the party's National Caucus of Members of Parliament for Wednesday. The meeting is scheduled to be a whopping 6 hours. This meeting has been scheduled as Mr. Trudeau has faced increasing calls for his resignation. This news could be interpreted as evidence that Trudeau will announce that he's preparing for to immediately trigger a leadership race for 2 reasons. And then lack of confidence in him and just lack of confidence within the chair and the Liberal Party. Does this mean that Justin Trudeau is going to immediately quit as Prime Minister too? That point is unclear. Section 44 of the Liberal Party's constitution requires that the party's national board of directors select an interim leader in the event that their present leader triggers a leadership race. Wait, so the Liberals are going to have a leadership race instead of an election. How is that going to take? How long is that going to take? Yes, that's precisely what all of this nonsense could mean. It's unclear how long the leadership race could take. But surely the NDP would vote non-confidence. LOL, probably not. And so you're seeing a lot of things that are just really, really up in the air right now. But let's take a look now at this video here that's brought to you by the mainstream media and what they have to say about Mark Carney, because that's what there seems to be a lot of speculation. It's a race between Chrystia Freeland and Mark Carney. So without further ado, let's get into this video.
Joining me now is Tom Mulcair, CTV News political commentator and former NDP leader. Good to see you, Tom.
Good to be with you, Renee.
So no official announcements yet, but Mark Carney, and then let's throw in Chrystia Freeland and Christy Clark could all be potential contenders for the leadership race should Trudeau decide to step down. How do you see this all playing out?
I think you've just named the 3 top picks in the trifecta, Renee. Former governor of the Bank of Canada, Mark Carney, it will be the prohibitive frontrunner in this race. 1, because he's extraordinarily talented. 2, because he's got the skill set in the area where Trudeau was the weakest, which is the economy. And that's why, by the way, the Conservatives are attacking not Chrystia Freeland, of course not Christy Clark, they're attacking Mark Carney. Their Quebec spokesperson is out all day today attacking Mark Carney, saying that he's been there advising Trudeau, but actually the person who's been there beside Trudeau on the economy all this time, of course, was Chrystia Freeland. Carney agreed to come on board a couple of months ago, but he doesn't have to bear the burden of any of Trudeau's bad decisions on the economy. And Canadians care a great deal about the economy. You know, in that famous expression from American politics, it's the economy stupid. I mean, you've got to understand that the average Canadian is being told that they have to tighten their belt. They've watched the Trudeau government and the bureaucracy under Trudeau grow exponentially with nothing to show for it. They're giving billions of dollars in contracts to private companies to do the same work. So the average Canadian is saying, look, the Liberal brand is still there. Trudeau is not. He's not on their radar screen at all. That's what's been fueling the 20-something% lead for the Conservatives. So if Carney makes it into the race, it'll be a game changer. If he becomes Liberal leader, he gives them some hope in the next campaign, although there is that massive lead that I just referred to for the Conservatives right now.
But he has to win it. That's the thing. And there's no guarantee that he actually wins a by-election because the Liberals are losing all of their strongholds. So even if he were to try to run, it's quite possible. I don't know if it's a 50-50 toss-up, a 60-40 that he would win versus lose. Nobody really knows. But we know that the Liberal Party is tanking. And nobody wants to vote for Liberals because that is a vote that supports Justin Trudeau. So even if Mark Carney runs in another Liberal stronghold, there could just be too many people that are saying, we don't want Trudeau and the Liberals. And even if Trudeau steps away from the party, that might not be enough, in my own personal opinion. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think Mark Carney can distance himself from Trudeau if he resigns? And is that going to be enough? Let me know your thoughts down below.
Regardless of whether it is Mark Carney or anybody else leading the Liberal Party, does anyone have what it takes to turn the party around?
Well, I learned that you never underestimate the Liberal Party because with Jack in 2011 and the Orange Wave, we became the official opposition, and everybody's saying, oh, they're relegated to the dustbin of history, and they came roaring back under Justin Trudeau, who, unfortunately for the Liberals, has stayed around just a titch too long. So I do think that it is very possible that the party that has been in power for most of Confederation can put on its game face, get ready. They have a very deep bench strength and put on a very strong fight in the next campaign. Those numbers will change rapidly, Renee, if somebody like Mark Carney were to take over the helm of the Liberal Party. So I said before that, you have to watch who the Conservatives are attacking for a hint. And I would also say you have to look to who Carney and indeed Chrystia Freeland or Christy Clark are able to recruit around them as their campaign team. Now, it would appear from some indications that someone of the caliber of Gerald Butts might actually be able to work with Carney and help him get ahead. If that's the case, if this is one of the strongest and people who's ever been in the Canadian government without being elected, and he's done very well in the private sector since he left. He's highly regarded by everyone who's ever worked with him. And Gerald Butts, if he were to decide to throw in his lot with Mark Carney, watch out. That is also a game changer.
Now, a long 6-hour meeting is scheduled this Wednesday for the Liberal caucus. Do you expect to see Justin Trudeau step down before that?
Ooh, here we go.
My thinking, it's entirely possible, and it's very difficult to guess, but I'd say, look, let's start with the certainty. The only certainty is that Justin Trudeau is not leading the Liberals into the next campaign. That's decided. But what he does in the next 48 to 72 hours is your guess is as good as mine. I think out of respect for his caucus, he'd like to be able to break the news to them. Theoretically, first, it would get out immediately, and then he would be able to do something a bit more orderly. That's been the biggest challenge, Renee, is that nothing has been done in an orderly fashion. Trudeau's known that the writing's been on the wall for about a year, but instead of giving a chance to his successor, he's doing the same thing his dad did to John Turner, leaving them as little time as possible. The same thing that Jacques Chrétien did to Paul Martin, leaving them as little time as possible. Mulroney did the same thing, by the way, to Kim Campbell. They hold on as long as they can instead of giving their successor a chance. So I think that Trudeau is going to try, at least, he's failed the last year, but he's going to at least try to show some success in his leaving of politics. Now, what are the possibilities for the different scenarios? One is called prorogation. You suspend Parliament, essentially. Harper did it a couple of times, once for over 2 months. So the Conservatives are going to scream and whine and moan, but they don't have much of a case because they did it themselves. That would give the party time to have a shortened bid. They could organize a leadership race. That would have to be shortened down, and they would allow themselves some time to choose a new leader. So there's been talk of a potential interim leader. I think that's a spectacularly bad idea. That would, in fact, mean 3 prime ministers in a few months when we're dealing with the most incredibly serious political situation we've dealt with in decades, which is the arrival of Donald Trump and the threat of these massive tariffs. So the Liberals have to do things not only for themselves, but they have to do things putting the country first. I think that, by the way, that's what Trudeau has failed to do, to put the country above his own interests. So he can still try to get it right now, but he's going to have to do it very rapidly.
All right, we will have to leave it there. Tom, thank you.
That is a possibility that I need people, I need you to understand that this could happen, that Justin Trudeau could prorogue government, and then we just don't have anything for the next couple of months, and then they'll find a way to stall before the summer break, and then summer's going to be here, and then we're going to go until the fall 2025 scheduled election in October. That's a real possibility. I don't want to say that's more likely than not. I don't want to say that's not as likely as it happening. Nobody knows, but it is a possibility of that on the table, which is something that obviously is just like horrible. Nobody wants that. Everyone wants an election right now. I want Trudeau to run in an election. Let me know down in the comments if you want Trudeau to run in the election, because I want that closure of him just getting pounded in the polls by Pierre. That is the end of the video, everybody. Stay tuned, stay glued to your phones and your devices over the next 48 hours. Subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications on, because you're not going to want to miss a single update. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.